certifications tend to be out of their budget, honestly, with the types of documentation you have to do plus commissioning. So we felt that this was sort of an underserved market, and there was not really a program out there for them. So we've just closed out the pilot, and this should be coming online as a full program end of the spring or sometime this summer. So we're very excited about that. I hope to, hopefully it's going to spur more programs in the market to create something specifically for small buildings. Because I'd like to add, actually, probably 60 or 70% of the commercial buildings are around, especially here in the Southeast, are under 15,000 square feet. So that's a large part of that building population. Another one is Green Globes. Green Globes is a rating system that was originally developed in Canada. Now it is it's called the Green Building Initiative. It's sort of the Canadian counterpart that runs Green Globes here in the United States, and it's a fairly robust program. I would say it is comparable to LEED. It's just not really got the market penetration and the market acceptance. My only issue with Green Globes is you can go through the program but not certify. I think I'll go back to why do one of these certifications? Because third-party verification. If you do not go through that last step of having it third-party verified, I think you've lost a lot of the value. You can get a really good building going through Green Globes, but please, please, please make sure you get that independent third-party verification at the end. And then finally, well, you can actually go through the program. At the end, you can have somebody come out and verify. It's an independent verification, but you don't have to do it. And that's, LEED, if you're going to go through the process, you're going to go through the process. There's only one way. So they sort of say, it's sort of like Green Globes Light versus the full Green Globes. And that's, I wish they didn't give that option. I understand why they're doing it, but I think you've got to go the whole way.
Who are you going to get to do the certification? LEED's going to certify Green Globes building?
No. Green Globes has their own, they have their own independent auditors that actually come on site and do it.
Are they considered third person?
Yes, most definitely. So the last one in the holistic category is something called the Living Building Challenge. Now this has been developed by the Cascadia chapter of USGBC. It's up in the Pacific Northwest, and they've also developed or started a sister company called the International Living Building Institute. But they are really, really, really on the cutting edge, raising the bar. So essentially, we've got buildings that are net zero energy, water, and waste. So none of that is going out. The reality is, at this point, they've not even certified one building. But I think there's probably going to be 4 this year. But this is sort of there at the future, which is good, though. We've got a broad spectrum. We've got LEED, which is really market-driven, and then we've got these guys really pushing the envelope and sort of showing us the way. So it's interesting. You can go online and read about all of these. They've actually got the full manual at the International Living Building Institute. So the next category I want to talk about is more campus-wide. Campuses are interesting. They're like small cities, but they probably have a little more control than a city. And then there's the whole educational side. There's just a lot of opportunity there, and our future leaders are there too. So it's exciting to think about the possibilities. And there's a couple of really good programs out there currently that I want to talk about. The first one is the STARS program. It's the Sustainability Tracking, Assessment, and Rating System. Now this is recently been developed by ASHI, which is the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability for Higher Education. This was just launched in January. I have not personally used it yet. I'm going to start getting more and more involved in this. I'm excited because it is a fairly robust, holistic approach to sustainability at a campus level. and it gets into education, operations, several different areas. So I think there's some really good things that could come out of this. So I highly encourage all the schools here to take a look at it and see if it's something they'd like to get involved with. The next one is the ACU PCC, which is the American College and University President's Climate Commitment. Now, this one's been around for a few years, and essentially it's asking schools to sign on and pledge to go to climate neutral and to set a date, and then to put a plan in place to achieve those goals. So maybe it's 2050, and then how are you going to get there? It's very transparent. You upload all your information, your plans online, so it tends to be extremely collaborative. We've got a lot of schools out there that have done it or are in the process. So I think it's a really good thing, and it's a good focus. Now, some of the people I've also seen using this, they'll come in and do this, but then they start looking at an overall campus sustainability plan, which there hasn't been much of a framework. So I think you couple something like this with the STARS program, you've got something really powerful. And then you can go down to some of the other ones for individual buildings. So it's interesting how some of these things are actually building. And then last but not least, I want to talk about some of the codes. We've actually got codes coming out, being developed specifically around green building. And I don't know what's going to happen with this. I think, one of two things are there. Green building is going to be codified, and all these other rating systems, certification systems are no longer going to be needed as one possibility, or they're actually going to start pushing the bar that much higher. I hope it's going to be the second. I would love to see green buildings codified, but then us have additional certifications that can really, really, really push the envelope. But we've got a couple out that are really in draft form. The first one is the IGCC, that's the International Green Construction Code. And it's been developed by the International Codes Council. And those are the guys that bring us the IBC, the International Building Code, or the IECC, the International Energy Conservation Code. And so this is the public version. Again, it's the draft. It was just released in March. So the next one is ASHRAE Standard 189.1. It's the standard for the design of high-performance green buildings. And again, this is also in draft form. So I'd keep your eyes out and see what's going to go. I think, probably some states out west, California would be, I could see certainly adopting these fairly early on. But we may start seeing these in the next year or so. So really just to close, I'll leave you with a few thoughts. Green building, I think it is, as I said before, it is important. You can have multiple impacts and positive impacts in multiple areas. You've got that win-win-win at the triple bottom line. Also that certification is a good thing. You've got third-party verification, keeps your feet to the fire, and provides that good roadmap, that good framework. And then last, we've got a lot of options out there. Take advantage of them. You've got some really easy, low-cost things like Energy Star, all the way up to super cutting-edge living building challenge. So there's a lot of entry points. So I think this is a very exciting time. There's a lot of things going on, and